So, first, a disclaimer. When I first started out in ministry over 2 decades ago, I actually dreaded the kickoff of the pledge drive, not because I didn't enjoy the kickoff, but I always felt for folks who were visiting the church for the first or second or third time, and they're like, all they do is talk about money. And so I'd always apologize, but I kind of got a little wiser and realized I don't apologize for today, and I don't apologize for the sermon, because you're here perhaps for the first, second, or third time, but you're going to witness something that I think is miraculous, and that is a church community that is connected in community, choosing to renew itself for another year, making that commitment. So the story that I'm about to share is a true one. I've been given permission to share it with you today, and that's the only reason I am sharing it. Permission granted. Driving on that Sunday morning, she felt terribly disconnected. She felt disconnected from herself, disconnected from everybody else, disconnected from life, and disconnected from any semblance of hope. She'd been through hard times before, but nothing like this. She'd hit rock bottom. There had been so much loss, and the subsequent relocation to Fresno made her feel even more alienated. That Sunday morning, she decided that she was done with life. That Sunday morning, when she got into her car and began driving out of Fresno, she knew she was driving to her own self-destruction. There she was, driving up Alluvial Avenue, when our church's bright yellow Black Lives Matter banners caught her attention. At that moment, something told her to turn left into our parking lot. She parked her car and opened the door. Not knowing where she was going, she joined the flow of last-minute arrivals, walking up our breezeway, through our front doors, and into our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary. Not knowing what to expect next, she sat down. The service began. That first morning with us, she experienced something that reminded her that she was loved just as she was, and that she was worthy of that love. In the words of John Wellwood, that morning she felt an invitation to open your heart to who you are right now. Not who you would like to be, not the saint you are striving to become, but the being right here before you, inside you, around you. All of you is holy. All of you is holy. Rather than driving to her own self-destruction, she had connected to a community that inadvertently invited her into the possibility of peace, hope, and love. She chose to come back the next week and the week after that. She worked to become connected in community, because sometimes when you're brand new, it can be hard to connect in community because it seems like everybody knows everybody else. And sometimes those of us who've been here for a much longer time tend to talk to the people they already know rather than ask questions and get to know somebody new. But she was determined to connect, so she worked to become connected in community. and she is now an active member of this church. A person who once felt helplessly alone is now connected in community. Connection. That striving, that yearning for connectedness is at the heart of our Unitarian Universalist faith. As I shared in a sermon a few months ago, Unitarian Universalists are people who believe in the transforming power of love. That love compels us to see every person as having inherent worth and dignity. Unitarian Universalism also believes that everyone and everything is connected. And because of that connection, we believe that we have a sacred responsibility to everyone and everything on this planet. We must act toward everyone and everything with care, concern, and compassion. In a nutshell, Unitarian Universalism teaches that we are all connected, that we are stronger together than apart, that we are love's hands in the world, and we are responsible for each other and for the earth. Taking this connection even farther, the Reverend Barbara Wells writes, "The world is interconnected. The world, the earth, the stars, the universe, these are not separate from us, they are us. As seekers of truth, we have the wisdom of scientists and philosophers to teach us the deep reality of existence, that we are made of the same stuff as all living creatures, even inanimate life. We are indeed the stuff of stars, and our religion honors this interconnectedness." You know, it's so easy to lose this sense of interconnectedness, certainly in that cosmic sense, but it's also easy to lose the sense of interconnectedness in that ordinary, everyday sense, especially with the increasing divisiveness in our country and with the demands of daily life that often seem to be much more about forward motion than deeper connection. I was reminded of this last week when I received an email from another church member, Liz, who recently became connected in community as a new member of the church. Liz gave me permission to share her email with you this morning. She writes, "I just wanted to take a minute to reach out and say thank you. My husband and I had driven by the church many times, and we were always intrigued by the ever-ascending Black Lives Matter sign." For those who don't know, ever ascending because it kept getting torn down, so we had to keep raising it higher and higher. Liz continued in that email, "I was, however, skeptical and guarded, as one tends to be after being burned by evangelism in a city full of aspiring megachurches. Finally, stepping out of my comfort zone and walking through the doors in September was not only better than I expected, but uniquely transformative for me, my husband, and my daughter. Our family is stronger and happier now that we finally found a community that shares our worldview and compassion for all people. I wanted to let you know that, and that I am so thankful for all who welcomed us to be part of something as beautiful as this." A new family now connected in community. So as we've already heard today is the beginning of our annual pledge drive. We enter that hallowed time when members, friends, and first-time financial supporters of this church ensure that for another year, we, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California, continue to thrive as a beacon of progressive religious values in the Central Valley. Staying connected in community compels us to talk about money this morning. But staying connected in community isn't about money. It's about something larger, our congregation's mission to, and will you say this with me, please, our mission to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. And in español, amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. It takes money to fuel this mission. A church can't sustain itself on good intentions. It needs generous contributions. We ask each other to make a pledge, to tell us how much financial support we can offer for the next fiscal year, which begins on July 1st. From the total of all of our pledges, we know how much income we can expect, and then we finalize a budget to sustain our spiritual community for another year. Now, I know at least one of you is wondering, what is required to stay connected in community for another year? According to our draft budget, we need pledges of financial support that amount to $645,999. I know we could have added one more dollar and rounded it up, but we are nonconformists and we wanted to be different. Plus, it's the reversal of 666. So, did you know that for a month of Sunday services, we need $165,000 to cover staff, equipment, supplies, so that we can broadcast our Sunday service live from our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary onto our virtual campus? You will continue to have a choice. Come in person, or, as you might be doing on our virtual campus, stay in your pajamas, sit on the couch, and attend services at home. And if you are on our virtual campus and having that choice feels awesome, just type the letter A in the chat box for awesome. And everybody on Alluvial Ave, don't you wish you had a chat box right now that you could press the letter A for awesome? Did you know that to expand our children's religious exploration programming and retain Karen Polnitz, our full-time director of lifelong learning, because we cannot grow with an understaffed program, we need over $46,000. Who's uplifted by music each Sunday? Let me see, yes. For that alone, we need $59,000. Do you like the beauty and serenity of our Alluvial Avenue campus? Yes, we need $133,000 a year to cover our mortgage. Lights, air conditioning, water, and other utilities require $47,000. Just imagine this sanctuary in August, no lights, no air conditioning. No one would be here, myself included. Now, if we take and divide our entire draft budget between the number of pledging members and friends, don't panic, the average cost per member is about $3,500. Now, many people give much, much more because they have the ability to do so. Thank you. Some pledge tens of thousands of dollars. Thank you. Others pledge in the $5,000 to $12,000 range. Thank you. Others in the several $1,000 range. Thank you. Others pledge several $100s. There are some who pledge so generously at $1 a week for a total of $52 a year because they want to support their church even as they struggle to make it through a week. For you, I especially say thank you. There are those who just can't spare anything right now, and if schedule permits, they try to find ways to give of their time instead. Thank you. And let's be really honest, some of us just need to be here and be nurtured and aren't in a place to do anything more than that. That's okay. And we are so grateful you choose to be here. I want to be clear. And sometimes folks newer to the church don't hear this. Everyone is welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California, no matter our financial circumstances. There is no charge to be a member or a friend. And those who have more pledge more for those of us whose financial situation is tighter. That is what it means to be a community connected in love. Now, I don't ask anything of you that I won't do myself. But first, last year, I pledged over 6% of my pre-tax salary right back to you, a total of $6,580. This year, the Pledge Drive team is asking those of us who currently pledge to, if possible, increase our pledge by 2% or more, if we can, to fund a very modest increase in the budget. So this year, I am increasing my pledge by 5% to add a little extra for someone who can't increase theirs. To you, to us, to the members and friends and the brand new financial supporters of our church, I pledge $6,909. Love those nines. If you too will join me and commit to make a financial pledge of any amount, please type P in the chat box or pretend you're doing so here on our Alluvial Avenue campus. Now, it's important for us to remember that sharing in a church community is different than giving to charity. It is different from writing a check to Planned Parenthood, the ACLU, or Citizens Climate Lobby. Those contributions are essential, protecting democracy, protecting our planet. But this church is different from charities and social change organizations. This church is the place we come to when the cares and worries of life seem too much for us. This church is the place where we come to recharge our weary spirits, to plug in and get a spiritual uplift. This church is the place that we come to weep and the place that we come to laugh and when we want to sing again. It's the place we come when we feel overwhelmed by the headlines. And who among us doesn't feel overwhelmed by the headlines? This church is the place we come to let go of dogma and damnation. This church is the place we come to be recalled to our best selves again. It's the place where we come to create good trouble. This is the place that invites us to breathe in peace and breathe out love. This is the only place I know that is big enough to hold all our doubts, all our questions, and all our changing answers. And it's the place that is small enough to want to know you by name. This is the place that we come when we need to find God, or spirit, or source, or our own humanity. This is the place we come to be reminded that we are good and that we are loved. This is the place we come to be challenged to take our love and share it with the world. So why do I give? Why do you give? Why do we give? We give because we believe in this church. We believe in our Unitarian Universalist faith. We believe in the power of human hearts to love more broadly and love more boldly. We give because this Unitarian Universalist church provides stability, friendship, connection, and community through all of the changing years. We pledge our financial support because this Unitarian Universalist church reminds us to respect Earth's interdependent web of existence before it's too late to save life on this planet. Why do I give? Why do you give? Why do we give? We pledge our financial support to this Unitarian Universalist church because when Fresno County told us to cover up those Black Lives Matter banners so that we can remain a polling place on Election Day, we said, no way are we hiding our beliefs. Not for 1 second, not for 1 minute, not for 1 day. Then we got the ACLU to file suit against Fresno County for racially insulting the black community of Fresno and for violating our First Amendment rights. And Fresno County finally admitted their egregious error. And that, dear ones, is why you can drop a ballot into the ballot box on our Alluvial Avenue campus, including, I might add, the next presidential election. We pledge our financial support to this Unitarian Universalist church because this church is willing to acknowledge the existence of white supremacy culture and other oppressions, and we are trying to learn how to begin dismantling this in ourselves, in our congregation, and in our larger denomination. We pledge our financial support to this Unitarian Universalist church because, in the words of Roy Phillips, our church stands against intolerance and fear. We support our church because it is open to people of whatever race, spiritual beliefs, cultural origin, disability, color, sexual orientation, thank you, gender identity, income level, or documentation status. We support this church because children can come here without being saddled with guilt, and they can learn that religion should be for joy. We pledge our financial support to this place because it's a place where walls between people are torn down, because here no one is going to call you a sinner. Yet we know how deep is the struggle and how great is the hunger for what is good. We pledge our financial support because we want to stay connected in community. Connected in community. Could you say that with me? Connected in community. One more time, robustly. Connected in community. Let's end with these words from Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Leslie Takahashi, slightly adapted. Cue the band to start coming up. I'd love you to join your voice with mine. So if you are willing, please respond. We are connected in community. Let's try that. We are connected in community. Despite the distance and fear, we are connected in community. Despite loneliness and change, we are connected in community. Across different experiences and lives, we are connected in community. Even in the face of the inevitable losses of life, we are connected in community. When we wish to laugh, we are connected in community. When we need to mourn, we are connected in community. Across our nation divided, we are connected in community. Even when we want to dance alone in a room, we are connected in community. In the heat of Fresno sun, We are connected in community. In the glow of the stars, we are connected in community. Across the limits of our imagination, we are connected in community. Even when nature trembles, we are connected in community. Así sea, bendito sea, may it be so. Blessed be everybody. Let's say amen together. Amen. Let's rise and join in singing All We Need.